Hey there. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Stephanie and I will be your yoga teacher for today. So I'm assuming that you clicked on the beginner yoga basics because you've never done yoga before, or you'd really like to start at the roots and figure out this yoga thing. So I'm going to go through very basic yoga poses. We're going to do them slow. I'm going to talk you through each one. So if you've ever done yoga before and you know what I'm talking about, you may find this video not as exciting. I have tons of other videos that are not beginner focused, so this is definitely for beginners. You're going to go ahead and find a nice comfy seat on your mat. I always think of gym class when I'm sitting in what we as yogis call easy pose. This is not accessible for everyone. We have two options here. We yogis love blocks. These are basic foam blocks. You could get this from any Walmart or any place online. You could also use books if you don't want to invest in blocks. The other great things are bolsters and blankets. So with blankets, we can stack them and make them pretty thick for certain poses. And then our bolsters are great when we need extra space, especially when we're in Shavasana and we want to open up our chest. Bolsters are great for that too. So if you cannot come and access easy pose with your sits bones on the mat, I challenge you to get some books or a block and sit on it. So this gives us more room because that's normally what we're lacking is the flexibility. So this allows us to have more room, and this gets our legs down. Just allows for the space to be able to sit up like this. You should have a very straight spine here. You could also sit on the bolster. It's going to provide a little more height and a little more cushion than the block. You could also use the rolled up blanket. It's great. We come here to warm up our spine, just to ground down. This is a very basic meditation pose. In yoga, I challenge you always to close your eyes. This is a pose that most people can close their eyes on. A lot of the more balancing poses create unbalance when we close our eyes. We feel off and we fall. So in yoga, we challenge ourselves to close our eyes so that we are looking inside, acknowledging the parts that we control. There is nothing in the outside world that we have control over. The only thing we have control over is ourselves, our thoughts, and our reactions. Nothing else is controlled by us. Yogis have a common theme of connection. We are all connected. We are all one. And when we close our eyes, we feel this on a much deeper level. Our eyes can judge and make assumptions about other people. But if we had our eyes closed all the time, do you think we would judge the same way? Obvious traits would not be so obvious, such as how much we weigh or how old we are. We would be more of a judge to the energy inside. Does this person make me feel good just by being in my presence? So yeah, what I'm getting at is the feelings that we feel in yoga on and off of this mat are very real, and they are all connected. We are all connected. We are all one. I am also a believer in a higher power. I feel like we should be able to make this choice consciously within ourselves. No need to let anyone know what or who you believe. This is a personal journey, and you are the only one that matters when it comes to that. You control your thoughts, you control your actions, you control your beliefs. We always challenge yogis to set an intention. I like to allow you to set your own instead of me setting it for you. It's easy. It's a simple question. Why did you show up today? What brought you to this mat? Obviously, I'm on a computer or TV or tablet screen or phone screen. I'm on a screen. So I had no motivation in getting you here. It was all you. And what part inside of you pulled you to this mat? What feeling did you have that made you say, I'm going to do yoga today? For me, it was about finding me. Not finding the person everyone else thought I was, what the world thought I was, but finding me. The person that lives with me, inside of me every day. Acknowledging Stephanie. Finding what makes Stephanie tick. What made Stephanie show up to her mat the very first time was discovery. So every time I come to the mat, I thank my higher power for allowing me the opportunity to flow on and off this mat every day, peacefully and joyfully. Yeah, it's quite an intention, I get it. But this is what's going to bring you to this mat every day. It's going to be what allows you to show up for you. So yeah, yoga to me is all about discovery. And when we close our eyes, man, the things that we unearth and discover, the adventures we find are so abundant. So, with all that said, thank you for joining me here today. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you. You're an awesome person for showing up online. No one has brought you here. And every day, the hardest part will always be just getting on the mat. So my challenge, of course, to you is to roll the mat out. Just sit there. Even if you don't move your body, listen to the words that are spoken. They are powerful, and they will fill you with love, joy, and hope. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to get started in our easy pose by warming up our necks. To do this, we're going to take neck rolls. We're going to start with our right ear to right shoulder, feeling this stretch all down the left side of our neck. And we are steadily breathing here. Just nice, conscious inhales through the nose and exhales through the nose. Go ahead and bring your head down through center, chin to chest. It's not touching, that's just the direction it's going. Eyes are still closed here. Still with the conscious flow of breath. Stretching all down the back of the neck, all down the back of the body. And rolling over, left ear to left shoulder. Feeling that stretch all down our right neck muscles. This is just such an important part of daily life. Stretching our necks. Go ahead and roll back and look up, stretching all through the front side of our neck. And back to center. Good job. So we're going to stretch our side bodies, and this also flexes our spine. So this starts to warm up our spine, getting it ready for movement. So we're going to place our left palm or fingertips on the mat on the left side. If you need some room, please put the block here and put your hand on the block. Sweep your right arm over like a rainbow and stretch it over towards the left. This is creating a stretch all down the right side of our body. Flexibility is good for all sorts of things, but as we get older, this goes away tremendously if we do not work it. Okay, back to center. So if you use the block on the left side, please move it to the right. Place your right hand down on the block. Sweep the left arm over the rainbow. Left side body stretch. Now I am actively pushing through my right hand here. I have an integrity of length and lifting. I am not, collapsing here. I want to feel the stretch, and to feel it, I'm pushing through my right hand, and this presses and creates the stretch. There's no need to collapse and be crazy. We want a straight, lengthened spine and just a side body stretch. Good job. Okay, back to center. Now we're going to twist our spine. This is probably one of my favorite things, is just twisting in an upright position. So we're going to inhale our arms overhead. We're going to kind of like twist and open our arms out, and if you need a block again, put it behind you. And you're going to put your left hand on the block, and your right arm is just going to put on your left knee, and we twist. Okay, so in yoga, whenever we inhale, we get a chance to lengthen and expand, and our exhales allow us to deepen into the stretch, to take the stretch further. So we are consciously inhaling and lengthening, and exhaling and twisting deeper. We want a straight spine here, an open chest, and our gaze is towards the back of the room. Inhale back to center, arms overhead. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to twist to the right. So twist to the right, drop the right hand down to the block or behind you, and your left hand to your right knee. Same motions here. Allow the inhale to lengthen you and the exhale to twist deeper. Play with that a few times. Inhale back to center, arms overhead. We're going to exhale our hands down through heart center. In yoga, we call this Anjali Mudra. This is prayer hands at our heart center. Yes. Okay, we're going to come into an all-fours position. So here, if you have bad knees or being on your knees really hurts, this is where the blanket comes in. And it's really nice to just spread it out and then put your knees down on the blanket. It's really lovely. If you've ever done this, like a restorative class, we love the blankets, and I always love when we get to pull them out. So when we're in all fours position, we're stacked. So we want our knees to be in line with our hip, and we want our shoulder to be in line with our wrist. We want a neutral spine here, and our gaze is just straight down. This creates the length in the spine. And this is such a good position. This is an amazing position to gather up strength. We are actively pushing. We are not, like I said, we're not collapsing. We have a straight spine. Our tilt and our pelvis is very neutral. To challenge the position, you can tuck your toes and lift your knees. This kind of makes you come into the right position. Another quick fact is that when we have our feet engaged, tucked, or just engaged like this or pointed, this protects our knee. So if you have knee issues, please always keep active feet. This will protect your knee joints and tendons and all of the things in the knees. They are such complex parts of our bodies, and we need to make sure that we protect them. So one of the funnest parts is cat-cow. So as you can imagine, cow is when we drop our belly and lift our chest. We inhale here, and then we exhale and we go into cat, where we round our spine and we're pushing through our hands. So let's go ahead and find some of the cat-cows. Let's do 3 of them. So we inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, cat. Exhale, round the spine, cat. Inhale, lift the chest for cow. Exhale, round the spine, cat. One more. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good job. Come back to that neutral all fours position. We're going to do a little bit of a calf stretch. So stretch your right leg out, keeping the toes on the ground. We're just pushing through. And just rock back and forth here, feeling that stretch all down that calf muscle. And plant it back down. Let's do the left side. So left leg goes back, stretching it through that calf. Rocking forward. Feeling that stretch all down that left leg. You might start to feel this in your shoulders too, from this rocking. Okay, come back to neutral. We're going to go ahead and sit back on our heels. Hands up in our lap. This is another great, easy, seated position. In a lot of my videos, I challenge you to find your own nice, comfortable seat. This is another great seat to just sit in. We can do the side stretches here. We can do our twisting here. Lots of warming up the spine action can happen in this kneeling position. So while we have our blanket down, we're going to find our puppy pose. So the puppy pose really helps to open up our shoulders and our chest. In this new world we live in, we do this all the time. We are just constantly borrowed in and, closing off this chest heart space. But that's not healthy for us. We want to be open and expansive on the mat and off the mat. So, puppy pose. Let's go ahead and come up. Find the all fours position again. Walk your knees back a couple inches. And begin walking your hands forward. And then we're going to come down and drop our elbows down. And if you can drop further, you can drop your head down. And the farthest position is obviously to put your whole chest down on the mat. But a more accessible position, if your shoulders are not open, is to put the elbows down fully, pressing through the hands like big starfish at the top of your mat. And feeling this expansion happening through the chest, through the shoulders. This is a great heart opening position. In yoga, we love to open our hearts and expand our chest. Get the shoulders nice and open. This keeps us mobile. No one ever said we should not be mobile when we are older. There's no reason. All right, and we're going to roll through. So we're going to keep our elbows planted, and now we are just bringing our hips down to the mat. I am still very actively pushing through my hands and my forearms to lift my chest here. Way to go. We've made it to Sphinx. This is Sphinx pose, and I think it is such a beautiful posture. I like to hold postures when I'm watching TV, when I'm doing certain things, and this is one of those that you can kind of get into and stay for a little while. And once you're here, you'll feel this start to happen. And we got to remember that we are pushing. We are active. This is an active position. One of my favorite cues is to smile. So we need to smile here. When we smile on the mat, it lets our bodies know, well, we're happy. It's okay. Everything that she's doing right now is fine. We trust her. We got this. So whenever I say smile, please give me your biggest smile and a laugh if you are into that sort of thing. Okay, so now we're going to find another position which is called child's pose. So push up through your hands, walk the knees in, and kind of come back into the kneeling seated position. So for child's pose, we're just going to come forward. Now, if you come forward and your butt comes up, please listen to your body. Let your butt come up and sit like this, okay? If it can go down, which, however you are right here. This is child's pose. Another option is extended child's pose. So same position, except our legs are towards the outside of the mat. Our big toes are still touching. So we open our legs and we walk forward. This is extended child's pose. This is definitely one of my more favorite resting positions. So here we are in a beautiful extended child's pose. All right. So come up back to that comfy kneeling position. All right, I'm going to get rid of this blanket. So walk your hands forward and tuck your toes. We are going to very slowly, one leg at a time, push our sits bones up towards the sky. So as you see right now, my legs are completely bent. I am pushing through my hands and through my shoulders. And I'm trying to get my butt towards the ceiling. Okay? So just feel that for a second. And then start to drop the left heel down. And then pick it up. And then drop the right heel down. Pick it up and drop the left. This is what I mean when I say walk the dog. So we're literally walking our down dog. Literally. And this creates some easy stretches through the hamstring. Because when we try to do both, we find that this is much more powerful. We have to use more muscles, and we have the stretch happening through both of our legs, which is obviously going to be more intense. Bend the knees. The knees bent's great. I'm going to come down and say this, and you can come down too. In yoga, we are not about who goes further or who makes it to what position first. The ego is not present. We are here for ourselves and for ourselves only. Our positions will not look the same on everybody else. My down dog will look different than everybody else's down dogs. Everybody has their safe ways of being in a position and holding a position. As long as it feels good to your body, this is what we're searching for. We are finding the things that feel good and nourish our bodies. Okay, so back and down dog. Bending the knees creates so much space for us to even stretch our shoulders, because we want to be able to get this stretch through the shoulders. Not just the legs, we want this through the back and the shoulders too. So, and this is our down dog. We're going to come up to the tippy toes, and then we're going to slowly walk towards the front of the mat. Once you start getting up here, you're going to feel the weight come into your hands more. That's just fine. Go ahead and take your feet shoulder width apart. We are in Ragdoll here. Once again, there's so many options in a forward fold. We can have our hands on the mat. We can have our hands behind our calves, around our ankles. We can interlock opposite elbows. Find a nice sway here. This is one of my favorites. We can interlace the two peace fingers around the big toes. There's all sorts of options. If you are finding that you're down like this, great. If your hands can't touch, that's great. Bend the knees. You still get the length in the spine with the legs bent. I can't fold forward with straight legs. I don't expect you to be able to do that. So we bend the knees and we hang down. The point is to lengthen the spine. If you want, you can straighten the legs. Feel that stretch. Feel the difference. Just don't let the ego think you have to make them straight legs. So yeah, just find yourself here. Find whichever position feels comfortable here in forward fold. And now when I say inhale, halfway lift, we are finding expansion and length through the spine. So a lot of people like to put their hands on their calf or their thighs. like this. Pressing forward, crown of the head, reaching forward actively. You can put them on right here on the shins. If you have enough room, you can put them on blocks, fingertips, whichever feels good, but this is our half lift. This is just creating that expansion. You should feel the stretch through the back of the legs at this point. And exhale, fold. Good job. Now we're going to inhale, and we're going to slowly stand up. And when I say root to rise, we're rooting and we're rising our arms all the way overhead. We're going to exhale our hands down through heart center, finding Anjali Mudra in our mountain position. This is Tadasana, or mountain pose. Standing. Easy. We can raise our arms overhead. And now we are volcanoes. Well, let's take some side body stretches here. So interlace our hands and keep our, like a Charlie's Angels pose here. And we call this Kali Mudra. So we can go ahead and take a little side body stretch over to the right, keeping the length, keeping the expansion, just a baby stretch to the right. Inhale back to center, over to the left. Good job. And exhale the hands down. Beautiful, beautiful mountain pose. Fabulous job. I'm going to end this practice here. I will have a whole series of these. This was just a basic, kind of getting you familiar with the language and the postures themselves. Go ahead and close the eyes down, rooting the feet into the mat. Grin is present on our faces. Thank you so much for showing up today. The light inside of me acknowledges and honors the light that is inside of you. Namaste. I really hope that you enjoyed this. Please comment and let me know how this went. My next beginner flow will be all about the Warrior series. And I'll also do a beginners on the Sun A and Sun B salutations. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day.